let's start talking about what's going on in the real world. And I just heard the bell. The bell went off, the big gong. I don't know how you didn't hear it, but I sure heard it. We've been whispering, hearing these whispers around that the central banks are going to stop supporting the stock and bond market, and they're not supposed to be supporting the stock and bond market. They were just supposed to be adding liquidity to the market. Well, it turns out not only are they buying bonds and toxic bonds to begin with, they're also buying stocks. And the central banks around the world have just become huge owners of the debt and equity markets around the world. And last April of 2017, why they were at a $2 trillion per year pace. They were just buying all kinds of things. And now they've announced that by April of 2018, they will be down to zero. Did you hear that? They're going to go from $2 trillion to zero. And I'm going to tell you that, this has been whispered around that they were buying stocks, and now they're admitting that they were. It's admitting that the Japanese central bank, the JCB, actually owns 90% of the Nikkei. They're in the top 10 holders of stocks. So they're major stockholders. The Swiss National Bank is the number one stockholder for Apple. They own between 5 and 7%. And what's really interesting is that they just create this Swiss francs out of nothing, and they buy Apple stock with it. So they get nothing, and they're getting Apple stock. And of course, the Federal Reserve has just announced as well. I mean, last month they've been talking about it. It's becoming reality, of course, that they've been buying stocks, they've been buying bonds, they've been supporting the bond market for 10 years. I mean, we're at an almost zero interest rate environment. So how is that possible that it's not real? I mean, it's certainly not. It's a manipulated market. But they've also been buying stock. They've had their plunge protection team. That's why you've had virtually no corrections for the last 3 years. I don't think we've had 3% correction in 3 years. How is this possible? I mean, how is that possible? Well, now we know why it's possible. So not only has the Fed said that they've been doing this, they're now going to stop, and not only stop, but they've announced that as the fourth quarter, which we're in now, they're going to start withdrawing liquidity of $10 billion per month. And we start getting till next year, we're going to be talking that the Federal Reserve, the total for 2018 withdrawal out of the market is going to be $510 billion just from the Federal Reserve. And of course, all these central banks, they don't want to take loss. It's just been great on the way up. So they're all going to start removing liquidity. So let me ask you, did you not hear that bell? So they have been supporting it. They've been propping up the markets. There's been no price discovery. It's just gone up and up and up, and it's just been pushed. So anytime there's any kind of just a little blip on a radar screen, these guys have come in and bought. So on what happens when that demand goes away? We have all the retailer investors, I shouldn't say all the retailers, so it can't be all the retail investors, but the retail investment crowd is up to its eyeballs in margin debt because they just wanted to get as much as they possibly could. So as the market has gone up, they've been taking margin debt. So a lot of the stock market in the retail crowd, which is the last ones to know anything, is been leveraged, and that's just wonderful when it's going up because profit gets multiplied. But let me tell you, the moment that you start taking a loss on a leveraged marketplace, that leverage works just the opposite way, and it starts multiplying your losses. And let's talk about this, is that when you have margin debt, your brokerage house has a trigger point with which they're going to sell it. And so when they sell it, it starts driving more selling pressure. So not only will they the leverage amplify your losses, but you're going to get amplified by the fact that we have a lot of brokerage houses are going to start triggering. So if you have any kind of decline, automatically you're going to start seeing selling pressure, and selling pressure can get amplified. That's how you have crashes. So and then you have the warning signs are out there. PE ratio over 30 over 30. You've got the industrial and investment loans have turned. They're heading down. There's actually fewer and fewer big projects being financed, being plants and equipment and tractors and trailers and things that investment and industrial loans have turned over. So we have plenty of warning signs. So let me ask you, what are you going to do about it? So my clients, we have a strategy. We've already talked about it. Our safety boat is our lifeboat has been filled. We've reviewed our lifeboats so that we're ready in case anything happens. We've been through this before. We're getting prepared, and I'm going to tell you my personal opinion. Once we come through this, and I think we could have a couple years of really, really difficult times. And we need to prepare for that. So it could be catastrophic if you're not prepared. But if you're prepared for it, once we come through it, because good times don't last and bad times don't last either. So if you're prepared for the bad times and you get ready, I think there's going to be unbelievable opportunities for those that are prepared, for those that are left. So here's what I'm going to say this one more time today. The bell has gone off. Please talk to your financial advisor, talk to your significant other, talk to your spouse, and say to yourself, what if the market goes against us? What if interest rates start to rise? What if my business starts to not do as well as it has? I mean, if you're in the roofing business, that's great. If it rains, why? Everybody needs a roof that doesn't leak, but people have to be able to pay for it. So if they can't pay for it, they'll be up there patching it themselves. Same thing with anything that's an elective. I mean, same with painting a house. We'd love to get a house, keep the house painted, but I'm going to tell you, if business slows down, they don't paint their houses as much. They defer that maintenance. Same with road construction. You're going to see that with all the municipalities, the states. Everyone is going to start deferring their costs, and that's going to affect your business. So let me ask you, what if your business starts to slow down? What are you going to do about it? So do you have other income streams coming in? Do you have a lifeboat put together like my clients do, that if these things happen, we have other sources of income? What if the stock market starts going against you? At what point do you have an exit strategy? At what point do you exit? What if interest rates start heading up? Do you have your debts under control? What if rates start going up? Do you have your bond portfolio under control? Have you sold off the bonds that you should have sold? So this is what you need to start doing. My clients have already done this. So we're here to help you in any way, shape we possibly can. We're here to help. So be careful out there. If we can help, we have a staff here. We're ready for any retirees. I mean, as a retiree, we cannot afford losses. I mean, we haven't got time. I mean, if you want to retire, then you cannot afford a 20, 30, or God help you, just in a normal recession, it's 39.6% loss in the stock market, just a normal one. And if we get a brutal one, like we had in the great financial crisis, it could go 70 to 90%. And I think this has potential for being worse than it was before, because it's going to be global. Everybody's going to be in trouble. So listen, we're here to help you if we possibly can. Please give us a call. We have staff. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to your spouse. We'll talk to your financial advisor. We'll talk to your tag. We'll talk to your attorney. We'll put our heads together and find out what we can do to help you in any way, shape, or way we can. So my very best to you from Scottsdale, Arizona.